Hello and welcome to another episode of TSS, your source for all things FIFA. Alright, so today is my review of second inform Benzema. I am so excited to bring this guy to you. He is one of my favorite players. He's worth every coin. I compared him to Crespo, who is 5 to 6 times the amount. Karim Benzema is just so good, and I am so glad that I get to talk about him today. On to the in-game stats, which are quite gaudy already, but if you keep in mind that at least 7 games were counted, and because I have internet issues almost constantly, were counted, but Karim Benzema didn't get any credit for the goals or assist, that makes his stats even crazier. He's already 6 foot, he has perfect work rates, right foot, double 4 stars, and in the 65 games that counted, he had 60 goals and a whopping unprecedented 35 assists, by far the most I've ever seen out of a striker, and I just kept playing with him because I could not believe how many assists he racked up. But of course it shouldn't be too much of a surprise, because in this squad he is going to thrive here. He's got Bale and Royce alongside him, and Isco and Modric and Schwein underneath, providing great service as well. All 3 players play amazing, and I will be reviewing this squad as a whole tomorrow. But what you're here for is Karim Benzema, and he truly is a joy to use. So shocked. I hated his not in form, but look at that. He finds great positioning, and that's one of his big factors. He's always working to find open space. Ultimately, the finish is guaranteed at this point, because if you can get it on his right, literally hold right bumper or R1 on the PS4, and it's going to be a goal. His finishing is so clinical. It's just absolutely ridiculous, and when you take into account his positioning, it is even more impressive. What really surprised me, and something that I did not expect at all, was the ability to sweat with Benzema. He's got good strength, and his pace, he plays much faster than his 84 pace. I would have assumed, if I hadn't been told what his pace was, I'd assume it's 88, 89, because you can really sweat with him. He doesn't feel weak at all on the ball. He may not be a tank type player, but he has more than enough pace to get the job done. But what you're paying for, and what I think makes him truly a transcendent player, is his inside of the box finishing. I mean, that is just so rare. There's only a few players that are capable of doing that in-game, and all of them are very expensive. Benzema is another one of those type guys that can just drill them low and find the corners. And if you looked in the upper left corner, the score is 6-0, and it's all down to Benzema. I mean, he is just so good at finding the corners inside and outside the box. And I'm not sure what stat to really chalk this goal up to, but he does this quite often here, and I think it might be balance, but he's just able to just stay on his feet and run through people, and he gets a lot of fluky goals that way. He really stays in the play, and that's something you don't see from a lot of strikers. He stays on his feet, he just keeps his legs moving, and I know that's not a goal that you can expect to happen all the time, but Benzema does score them with a shocking amount of regularity. Another big factor in Benzema's game, and perhaps the one that takes him over the top in terms of unique players, is his ability to be an assist maker. There, a dime flick to Royce. I cannot say enough about this front 3, but Benzema really facilitates a lot of action here. I mean, as you can see, bam, little flick over, and Royce was never gonna miss. It's just Benzema's ability to play with his fellow strikers that makes him amazing. He's like Shevchenko, but with better work rates. He's just able to find so many passes and play so well with his teammates, and because of his good passing stats, if he gets caught out wide on the wings, he can get the job done out there as well. He can tend to lie a little deeper every once in a while despite the work rates, but it's really not a big deal because he's so good at picking the decisive pass. He does have really good heading accuracy, and although he doesn't have immense jumping, and his height means he's not going to win as many headers as some of the true target men, if he does get his head on it, it is going to be a goal because of that crazy heading accuracy. It can be a chore, I'm not going to lie. It can be a chore to get him to actually win the headers because he is only 6 foot, and going against Boatengs and companies, he's going to have a hard time. But overall, he can get the job done in the air. Here's some skill moves here. You can see how crisp and clean he is on the ball, which again, not many strikers have. And then that finish, I mean, that is a finish you only see out of Legends. A finish that defies physics, and it all comes down to his silky touch. That run could have been ripped out of the Crespo playbook. He's just so silky smooth and then clinical once he's inside the box. Alright, and the final score for Benzema is a 9.2 out of 10. He's in the top 5 scores for players that I have used in this game. He's just so much fun to use. His breakaways, I give him an 8.8 out of 10. Considering he's only an 84 pace player, that is really good. He's such a marked improvement over his not in-form card. He's able to sweat. He's not Quadrado or Walcott fast, but if he gets a yard or two, he's not going to get caught. Inside the box, I give him a 9.2 out of 10. He's another one of those players, just like Klose, that really has my trust inside the box. Finesse it, though, I would recommend almost all the time. His finesse shots are so good. Just right bumper, near post, far post, whatever. It's going to go in. Outside the box, I give him an 8.5 out of 10. Although he did score a couple long shots, mainly on my Twitch stream, he is more of an inside-the-box player. He can hit him, though. From 25 on in, his finesse shots are crazy, crazy good. From outside that range, he starts to struggle a bit hitting him consistently, but overall, pretty good in that range. I would knock him for his ability not to score super long shots, although that really isn't his game to begin with. Get him inside the box. That's really where he's going to succeed. His skill running, outside of Crespo, I can't think of another player who's over 6 foot that was so easy on the ball. He's agile, quick, left trigger, right bumper dribbling, fake shots, whatever you want. Ronaldo chops, insanely effective. He's just so good. Everything's close controlled. He's not sluggish. He's one of the best dribbling, bigger strikers that you can use in the game. And he's really a direct comparison to Crespo in that aspect. Now, this stat really shocked me, and one that I wasn't expecting to give such a high score for any striker. But he is that good. Benzema is so good at creating chances for others. I give him a 9.7 out of 10. He averaged an assist every other game. He can play the short ball. He can play the long ball. And he can play the cross as well. He works so well, especially if you can afford to supply him with good wingers. He can just feed the ball as good as he can finish, and your opponent's really not going to have an answer. They can't leave Benzema alone, but then again, if they come down hard on Benzema, he can easily play off the ball to someone else. Truly a really unique striker in that aspect, that he's just as good at creating as he is at scoring for himself. So really, an A there, a 9.7 out of 10. His heading stats, as I mentioned, he's 6 foot, so he's not going to have the best of time going against Boatengs and such. But if he does get his head on the ball, he does earn an 8.5 out of 10 because he's purely so accurate. If he gets a clean header, it's a goal. From just about 12 to 16, anywhere in that range and closer, it's going to be a goal because he has great accuracy. Again, though, I do mark him down for his ability not to out-jump Boatengs. Not many people are. But it is worth noting that if you're running with a second striker, you may want a taller guy, particularly for those corner kick situations, as he can struggle, and you're going to want a late option if you're losing in games. Perhaps Benzema isn't the best option to whip it in, especially if your opponent's got 2 trees in the back. Alright, so as always, a like and subscribe would be appreciated. I'm on Twitch at the Saintly Sounder, and on Twitter at the Red Death 329. If you have a player you want to see me review, let me know in the comments or on Twitch. I'd be more than happy to try and review a guy. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about the squad I use Benzema in. I think you shouldn't miss it because that squad is very good as well. Until next time, see you on the pitch.